when 78-year-old Clara finds a baby on her porch swing with a note saying "You loved me once. Love her now." She uncovers a hidden thread tying her to a forgotten foster daughter and a chance to heal old wounds. The morning mist clung to the sleepy Ohio town like a lace curtain, softening the edges of Clara Weather's weathered farmhouse. At 78, her routines were as predictable as the sunrise. Steep Earl Grey tea, prune the rose bushes, rock gently on her porch swing until the mail arrived. But today, the swing held something impossible, a wicker bassinet, woven so finely it seemed spun from moonlight. Inside, a newborn squirmed beneath a hand-knit blanket, cheeks pink as peonies. Clara's arthritic hands trembled as she lifted the note pinned to the blanket, a single line in shaky cursive: "You loved me once. Love her now." The baby's cry pierced the stillness. High and plaintive as a songbird, Clara's heart did something she thought impossible after decades alone. It cracked open. She rattled the child instinctively, her thumb brushing the tiny forehead. "Hush now, little sparrow," she murmured, the old lullaby rising unbidden. Beneath the blanket, something metallic glinted, a tarnished silver rattle engraved with vines. Clara froze. She knew this rattle, had last seen it clutched in the hands of 9-year-old Leela, a foster child who'd stayed just 6 months in 1998. The girl who'd left wildflowers on Clara's pillow every morning. The one who'd vanished without warning when the state moved her. Clara's knees buckled. She sank onto the swing, the baby's warmth seeping through her house dress. Down the empty gravel road, a flicker of movement, a figure in a gray toddy disappearing into the tree line. "Wait," Clara groped, but only the wind answered. Inside, as she changed the baby's diaper using an old towel, she found another relic, a faded hospital bracelet tucked into the folds. The name read Evelyn, but the last name had been torn away. Clara's tears fell onto the child's belly as realization struck. This wasn't just any baby. This was a message, a plea, and perhaps a second chance. Clara sat at her kitchen table, the baby Evelyn sleeping in a laundry basket padded with towels. The rattle lay before her, its vines now dull with age. She turned it slowly, remembering Leela's small hands polishing it obsessively. "It is all I got left of Mama," she whispered once. Clara's fingers found what she dreaded, a nearly invisible seam along the rattle's handle. With a pop, it split open, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside rested a tiny locket, no bigger than a pea. Her breath caught. She'd never known the secret. The locket opened stiffly. One side held a microscopic photo of a young woman with Leela's wide-set eyes. The other bore 3 letters etched by unsteady hands: EOS. Clara's tea went cold as memories flooded back. Leela's nightmares. Her refusal to speak about her past. The way she'd flinch at car doors slamming. At the time, Clara had assumed it was typical foster child trauma. Now she wondered. The doorbell rang, jolting her. Sheriff Dawson stood hat in hand, his mustache twitching. "Heard you've got a situation." Clara hesitated, then showed him the bassinet but not the rattle. "Any idea who left her?" he asked. Clara shook her head, the locket burning in her apron pocket. After he left, she dug out Leela's old file, yellowed paperwork from a closed Detroit case. Stamped across the top: parental rights terminated, substance abuse. But as Clara squinted at the smudged caseworker notes, she spotted a scribbled anomaly: Uncle J, contested custody, allegations unverified. The words slithered into her gut. Outside, twilight painted the fields gold. Clara rocked Evelyn, humming as the locket's chain coiled around her fingers like a question mark. Somewhere out there, Leela or someone who knew her was screaming for help. And this baby was the echo. Clara's hand shook as she pushed the grocery cart through Parson's Market. Evelyn tucked snugly in a sling against her chest. The baby's breath warmed her collarbone. A tiny anchor in the storm of her thoughts. She paused in the cereal aisle, reaching for oatmeal, Leela's favorite. A woman's voice sliced through the hum of fluorescent lights. "That is her. Ain't it?" Clara turned to find a gaunt redhead in a nurse's scrubs. Her green eyes locked on Evelyn, the porch baby. Before Clara could speak, the woman gripped her wrist. "I was there when she was born. The mother, she made me swear to get the baby to you." Her name that read Marla, labor delivery. Clara's pulse roared. "Where is Leela?" Marla's face crumpled. "Gone. Overdose last spring." But before she fumbled in her purse, producing a creased Polaroid. Clara's knees nearly gave way. There stood Leela at maybe 20, holding a newborn Evelyn in a hospital bed, her smile fractured by track marks. The date stamped 3/14/23. "She made me memorize your address," Marla whispered. "Said you were the only person who ever." A crash interrupted them. A stock boy dropped cans nearby. When Clara looked back, Marla was retreating toward the exit. "Wait," Clara called, but the nurse vanished through the automatic doors. Evelyn stirred, her tiny fist brushing the Polaroid. Clara traced Leela's face, the same wide eyes that once peeked from her childhood bedroom door. In the photo's corner, a man's arm rested on the hospital bed rail. Tattooed knuckles spelled Jess. Clara's stomach dropped. "Uncle J." The cashier eyed her strangely as she paid with trembling hands. Outside, the summer sun felt suddenly cold. Clara buckled Evelyn into the car, the Polaroid burning in her pocket. Someone had loved Leela enough to send Evelyn her way, And someone with Jess on his fists might come looking. That night, Clara dragged Leela's old footlocker from the attic. Dust swirling in the lamplight like ghosts. Inside, beneath yellowed dresses, she found a composition notebook with private, scrawled on the cover in Leela's looping script. The pages crackled as Clara turned them, revealing pencil sketches of her own farmhouse, the porch swing, and a stick figure woman with Clara's bun. Halfway through, the entries changed. Uncle Jay says I am trouble like mama. Says he's gonna teach me right. Clara's throat tightened. The next page was torn. Then, in darker graphite, he smells like whiskey and keeps touching my locket chain. I hide the rattle now. The final entry, dated 3 days before Leela's removal, stopped Clara's heart. Miss Clara is making blueberry pie. I wish she was my real mom. If I tell about Uncle Jay, they'll take me away from her too. A dried wildflower was taped beneath the kind Leela used to leave on Clara's pillow. The baby monitor crackled as Evelyn coozed in her sleep. Clara pressed the journal to her chest. Rocking as silent sobs racked her frame. All these years, she blamed herself for not fighting harder when they took Leela. Now she understood Leela had been running from monsters long before Clara's porch swing. Dawn found Clara at the sheriff's office, Evelyn in one arm, the journal and rattle in a Ziploc bag. I need to report a crime, she said, her voice steelier than she felt. From 25 years ago. Sheriff Dawson's coffee cup paused mid-sip as Clara laid out the evidence. His pen moved furiously. We'll test the rattle for DNA, he promised. If this Jessica Miller is still out there. Clara finished his thought silently. He might come for Evelyn next. The morning of Evelyn's adoption hearing, Clara dressed her in the same lace-trimmed gown she'd once bought for Leela. Summer sunlight poured through the courthouse windows as the judge stamped the papers. Congratulations, Grandma, he smiled. Outside, Marla waited nervously with a manila envelope. Leela wanted you to have this, she said. Inside were ultrasound photos and a letter. Dear Miss Clara, if you're reading this, I messed up bad, but Evelyn's perfect. Love her like you loved me for those 6 months, the happiest I ever was. Clara's tears splashed the ink as Evelyn patted her cheeks. Back home, Clara hung the ultrasound beside Leela's childhood drawings. On the porch swing, she rocked Evelyn, humming as fireflies blinked to life. A car rolled up the gravel drive. Sheriff Dawson. We found Jessica Miller, he said quietly. Died in a bar fight years ago. The case, it's closed. Clara exhaled a breath she'd held for decades. That night, she tucked Evelyn into the crib Leela never got to use. The silver rattle now displayed safely on a shelf. Moonlight through the curtains painted vines on the wall just like the rattle's engraving. Good night, my girls, Clara whispered to the shadows. Years later, when Evelyn asked about the woman in the drawings, Clara would smile through tears. That's your first mama. She gave me the best gift twice over. And on every porch swing morning, when the mist clung like lace to the fields, Clara would feel them both with her, the daughter she'd lost, and the daughter who'd found her way home.